So we're here at the office of Claire Navarro Espina, the former lawyer of Nora Aunor, and her associate Arnel Tan, who will give their views on what's going on in the national artist suggestion of PNoy, President PNoy. So what was your reaction, Claire, when you heard this?
I had actually thought initially that he is entitled to his prerogative, and whatever anyone says, the law provides, he is entitled to that prerogative, and he exercised it. I was asked by a few people to write an opinion piece about the wisdom of that exercise, and I didn't want to. I didn't want to inject myself into it, Janet. What prompted me to say something is when he made that public statement, an unequivocal statement that Nora was convicted here. And I think the term was naparusahan siya. I'm assuming that that's the California thing. So, having represented her and knowing the intimate details of the case, I knew that that was factually and legally incorrect.
So can you define what convicted mean?
Yes. And this is for California law. A conviction results from an action of a court finding a defendant guilty, sentencing that person, and then entering that finding on the record. So it is an act of the court that says you are guilty. I find you guilty and I enter that on the record. Now, she was entered under a specific program offered in California, and thank God for those programs. Under the provisions of that code, it's the California Penal Code Section 1000 et sec, that if you successfully meet that particular requirement of that particular code, the case is dismissed and you are not sentenced. Even the record of the arrest is deemed not to have occurred. So in fact, legally, Nora has no arrest record and Nora is not a convicted individual.
Okay, what would you suggest for the president to do?
I would not deem myself in any position to suggest anything to the President of the Philippines. All I had stated is that, in fact, the statement was factually and legally incorrect. That process of how they select and how they make a determination of who makes national artist is something that is alien to me. I would not impose my expertise nor my opinions in that process. I do support my client, of course. I do support the move to have her be declared a national artist, but that is a process I will not address. The fairness of that, the equity of that, the accuracy of that process, I will not question. It's not my place. But what I can say, being her attorney of record, and Arnel here and I had really studied this matter, is that if California deems that there is no record here and there's no conviction here, that under full faith and credit, because it's California jurisdiction that determines the issue, all other jurisdictions must respect that. So if they spread this information that this and that, taking bits and pieces of what happened without understanding the procedural, legal and substantive context, right, Arnel, of that finding, then they are spreading misinformation.
Mm-hmm. Did Nora ever contact you about this? To
No.
speak on her behalf?
No. She called me afterwards. She was grateful. We continue to assist her on some business matters here in the U.S., but I do not want to impose on her. And all I did was initially, I think you contacted me, Janet, and a few other outlets, was I said, no, that's not true. It's an inaccurate statement. That was my intent initially, just to leave it at that. And then, people were asking, because I suppose that a certain spokesperson for the president keeps insisting, well, she entered a plea of not guilty, we know what happened. They, in fact, don't know what happened. And I would urge them to first research on the subject matter upon which they make these very public conclusions.
Any last words, Arnel?
No, nothing that Claire already mentioned. I think the problem is, people in the Philippines are belaboring under the wrong set of facts here. They treat Ms. Aunor as somebody who was convicted when California itself says she was never even arrested in the first place.
Okay.
So I think that needs to be cleared up.
So, any advice or final words for the Filipinos?
No, all I can say is a process has gone on. All we did here was to make a statement on an area of our expertise, and we want to leave it at that. But I do support on a personal and a legal basis, and being a patron of the arts myself, that I believe it should be appropriately conferred upon Nora. I hope it will be at some point in time conferred upon her. But whether or not it is conferred upon her, I think there are some people who reach a certain status in life, in society, in the arts, in their fields, where regardless of any overt action of awarding them certain things, that they are already that, regardless of anything else. And I think that is her gift.
Thank you very much for having
Janet,
us.
thank you for meeting with us, and this brings back a lot of memories of almost 10 years ago.
Yes.
Okay. Thanks
Thank
a lot,
you.
Janet.
Thank you, Janet.